Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and so happy to see all of you gathered here for the session that is going to start in a few minutes, which is dubbed ESG, What's in it for me? Now, I'm tempted to ask you guys who knows what ESG is, but we're not here to do a test. So I'll tell you it's environmental, social, and governance investing. And the subtitle is How to Stop Wasting Food, Time, Talent, and Money. And that is coming from our distinguished speaker today, and it's my honor and pleasure to announce him. He's with ABN AMRO, he's been for quite a while. When I read his resume, he says, I like finding winning strategies and pragmatic solutions when realizing profitable and sustainable growth. So please welcome to the floor, Stef Driessen, sector banker in leisure, travel, and hospitality.
Yes.
Welcome, Stef.
Thank you so much, Sanne. Yeah, about profitable, about opportunities. Last weekend, we saw people from Extinction Rebellion demonstrating in The Hague. We also saw, disappointed or angry farmers demonstrating. So sustainability is really a hot topic. Climate change is. And I think what the two groups have in common is that they tend to look at the threats more than at the opportunities that lay in front of us. Because there is a huge opportunity and there's a lot of money. As a banker, I like to talk about money in every ESG challenge. And I will elaborate on that for the next 20 minutes. If you have questions, please just ask them. I'll try to reserve 10 minutes to facilitate that as well. Well, first of all, the economic outlook is quite good for boutique hotels, luxury hotels. The Dutch economy is growing, although inflation is at a peak as well. We're above 8% in Europe. For this year, we're expecting 4.4%. So margins and incomes, spendable incomes, are under pressure. Yet, people are willing to pay, especially for luxury. At the figure you see, the ADR development of the five-star hotels, it's really incredible what kind of prices you guys are able to ask from your guests. This is a sign that people really enjoy spending their money on experience, and we see that all across the line. Also in younger generations, the turnover in restaurants has never been this high in history. Yet, inflation causes some major challenges. Central banks have to raise interest rates to fight it. If they don't do that, then we will have a bigger problem later on. Interest rates have gone up quite fast due to the bankruptcy of 3 American banks last week. It's really changing rapidly. They will probably not rise that fast again yet. We don't expect central banks to lower their interest rates before, November or December this year. So interest will remain at a higher pace. And there is a challenge, there is an opportunity in that as well. First of all, the interest, the fixed rate period is changing quite rapidly, and you should really discuss that with your banker. And second, you can, just by talking to your banker and talking to your accountant, you can really improve your credit rating, which is determining a big chunk of your interest rate. And what you should do, what everybody should do, is keep your short-term debt, your short-term liabilities. That's the amount, for instance, you have to pay to the tax authority or to your suppliers. Keep that as low as possible. because short-term debt will have a great impact on your credit rating. And in the fiscal year prior to refinancing, keep your dividends low as possible. That will save you in refinancing probably, let's say, like 0.5%. And it's quite easy to fix that. You can improve your credit rating as well by digitalizing cash flows. That's way more sustainable than cash. It's faster, it's cheaper, but it's also good for your payment history. And this is a huge factor in determining your credit rating nowadays. At our bank, for the hotel industry, it's like 25% of your credit rating. It's huge. Why are banks concerned about climate change? Well, we think it's the biggest threat to humankind, first of all. But we're also concerned of sticking up with stranded assets. Stranded assets are, for instance, the American obligations or state debt, which went down rapidly in value. Which caused the Silicon Valley Bank during a bank run to collapse. Those are stranded assets, and if our clients don't invest in sustainability, there's a real chance they will be stranded as well, especially with the CRD code which is coming up, where super specialist Angelique and Eric are able to tell you all about. Make us part of your sustainability ambition. We are able, and we are actually doing that since 2016, to reward the achievement of sustainability targets with interest discounts. So, for instance, we have credit loans where we give interest discounts for our hotel clients who are able to improve their diversity within their management teams, who are able to lower staff turnover just by treating staff better. And we are actually rewarding the lower energy use, and it's quite easy to do so. If you have the super specialist Andres Vellenberg van der Molen walking through your hotel with a thermoscan, it's really easy to find leakages in either warming or cooling. And the biggest gain is just to lower the water pressure in showers. Let's say from 25 liters a minute to 10. Water isn't that expensive, but warming water is. And my guess is most guests won't even notice. It's an energy saving, and it's boosting your sustainability efforts without having to invest that much, because it costs hardly anything. That's the strangest thing about sustainability. That most hoteliers, this is a survey I conducted in February through Hotel Leaders Network, most hoteliers tend to think that investing in ESG is costly. It takes up a huge investment. That's the biggest nonsense there is. There is a smart and simple and easy to use and plug-in solution for every ESG challenge. And the guy you see standing here in the middle, Sebastian Jager, he is actually at the stand in the second row. He was able to manage energy usage, for instance, at Sir Adam in Amsterdam, down by 25%, without guests complaining about being too hot or feeling too cold in the water or under the shower or in the lobby, just by putting his artificial intelligence tool and connecting into climate heating systems. artificial intelligence will help climate heating systems to improve drastically, and yeah, you can plug it in within 2 weeks, and it will immediately help you save money. Battling food waste. If food waste was a country, it would be the third largest CO2 carbon dioxide emitter of the world. It's incredible. And it's really easy to cut down your food waste just by installing the smart cameras of, let's say, Orbisk. It's a no-brainer. It won't cost you anything. It's a subscription model. And you can use it in almost every kitchen. The average kitchen will the average kitchen is wasting like 60 kilos a day. Yeah, and it's a no-brainer just to cut that in half. Staff turnover, that's the S, the social component in ESG. That's reducing staff turnover is a no-brainer as well, and you can easily reduce it by giving your staff more influence on their own working schedules. That's the biggest factor. But you can also implement, improve your onboarding process and your feedback loop. And I'm a huge fan of, one team, which isn't costly to install as well, subscription-based as well. Yeah, and you can talk to a super specialist like you, especially when you're working with people from, let's say, Spain or Greece or other countries. If you eliminate thresholds for your staff turnover will go down, quality of the hotel operations will go up, profit will go up as well. And you get a discount in your interest, which you pay at the bank. Then the E. The E is about governance as well. And if you look at where Dutch hotel guests are coming from, the MBTC, the Nederlands Bureau voor Toerisme en Congressen, has a really extensive database on that, and they're constantly renewing it. But if you look at where guests are coming from, most of them are speaking German. What is interesting for German? Well, that's good cancellation policy, and policy is about governance. If you're able to provide your German guests with good cancellation policy, or, for instance, travel insurance, then you need to have the government in place that is actively, keeping balance in the interest of your guests. But doing this the right way will attract, at least a lot of extra Germans. And what I think is interesting is to look at the environment as well. And I'm a huge fan of the annual reports of Airbnb and Booking, because they are showing the way. This slide, every dot you see, that's an Airbnb, which has Amsterdam in the title, but it isn't actually in Amsterdam. So Groningen is Amsterdam North, and Tilburg is Amsterdam South. That's the environment from a guest point of view, especially if you're American or British or from, South America or something. The environment matters, and I think a huge opportunity, especially for attracting Dutch guests. 10% of all Dutch people who have booked an accommodation for this summer in the Netherlands are traveling by train, by foot, walking, or by bicycle. 10%. So it's really, really important for especially the boutique hotels to emphasize your location in relation to, for instance, bicycle routes. That's a thing. Then another big group, also a huge fan of Dutch hotels, our southern neighbors, the Belgians. What is most important for our Belgian guests this next summer? That's having a quiet place. So they like the peers more than they like the cancellation policy, for instance. And it would be very good to emphasize the nature aspects within your hotels. We have like Upper Bloom, which is 2 stands down the left. Please go have a talk with him, because you can really improve the feeling of, for instance, parking lodges, parking places, just by having them being your gardener. And that makes sense also from a social point of view, because it will immediately lower stress levels amongst your staff members. Perhaps of you as well. It's just nice to look at green. It's good for concentration and it lowers stress. So to summarize it up, Kermit, the kicker, used to say it's not easy being green. Well, in my opinion, it's more easy not to be, because there are a lot of opportunities in that area and there's a lot of money to be made. So and we would love to work together with you guys to accomplish this. So thank you very much for your attention.
Should you have any questions, this would be a good time to ask them. We have some microphones to amplify your sound. Are there any questions in the audience? There is. I'll go to the front.
Angelique?
I normally don't give away, but for you, I make an exception.
Thank you very much. My name is Angelique Lombard. I would like to know, you especially talked about the E and S.
Yeah.
What are the challenges or opportunities from when you look from the G side, the governance side?
Well, I didn't elaborate on that, but you're the expert in the government. Please talk to Angelique about the CSRD. That's a European guideline, which will I will be. It might sound harsh, but if you don't comply, if you're not compliant with the CSRD in 2026, you're more or less out of business as for the B2B bookings are concerned. So meetings, events, or B2B nights, I think non-compliant boutique hotels will get a very harsh time to attract those guests. Erik, you want to elaborate on that?
There was one previous question here.
Thank you. My name is Amanda Busjes. I was wondering how you actually, as a bank, evaluate ESG. You already mentioned it like a little bit.
Yeah.
You have like certain percentages that you can give a discount, but is there like a list of criteria on which you evaluate?
Yeah. So most banks have their own sustainability ranking criteria. We have as well. We have a major ambition to grow our sustainability loan book. So for every loan, corporate loan we're providing to the hotel industry this year, we want 1/3 of those loans to be sustainable. So if you talk about ESG criteria with your banker goes on right away, and he will start or she will start working for you instead of the other way around.
That's the magic word. Remember ESG, right? And yes, here's another question. I'll come to you in a second.
Yes, Erik van Dijk, Green Key Netherlands.
Yeah.
We say in the Netherlands, old wine in new bags. We first talked about reuse, and now it's circular. And we talked about corporate social responsibility, and now it is ESG. What is exactly the difference between corporate social responsibility and ESG? Or is corporate social responsibility part of ESG, or just the way I...
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. It's just about using your brain and and optimizing your performance. And well, being green is just a part of that.
And sometimes wine tastes better if it's a new bag, right? It's sorry.
So, Stef, you said that there are benefits when you are doing better in diversity and inclusion for getting a loan, for example. But how do your company walks the talk?
Yeah. Yeah. So what is a bit of a challenge is we don't want to be we don't want to build up a name for being guilty of greenwashing. So the diversity factor is really a case by case study where we have talks with the accountant of our hotel clients as well. Talk about what is feasible, what is measurable, and then we have to have our accountant signing off at it as well. But yeah, we have granted several loans where not only a more diverse management team, but also, for instance, attracting people with my English is terrible. Sorry for that, guys. But also attracting people with a distance from the labor market as well. It's a really We did, however, find out there aren't that many anymore. So the feasibility part is a really big chunk of. It has to be measurable, ambitious, feasible. Yeah. But let's just try out and
Any other questions? Yes.
Nick.
Yeah, Stef, you started off with the interest loans. There were being a chance for getting like short terms, but you didn't elaborate on that. What did you mean? So you said, okay, the short terms loans, so you can loan for rentages for 3, 5, or 10 years, and there you said there would be a chance, but I didn't get it quite well.
Yeah, so the short-term debts are really. You're talking about that? The interest rates. Well, yeah. As long as we have high inflation. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Nick of Ives Tilburg asked me to elaborate on the interest rates. Well, interest is probably going up because inflation is not at its peak yet, and that is a real threat to the economy and to our wealth. And yet. The interest rates is only part of the percentage you are paying. There are 2 other components. And one of them is based on your individual credit rating. Well, you can quite easily improve that one. And the other is based on the time you lend the money, because there is one big difference between European and US banks, and I don't think we will see a Silicon Valley bank here, for instance, because there isn't risk being taken between the period that assets and liability are on our balance sheet. So,
Are there any further questions? We're reaching the end of this session, but there's room for a question. Should there be any? One more. Can always count on you.
Just a last question. If hotels want a loan and they can't prove that they are busy with setting up an ESG policy, will they have difficulties finding money at your bank?
It all depends on their ambition to have an ESG policy in place. And having ambitions on that field. I think actually also Green Key can help enormously with that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, audience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Stef.
Yeah.
Please enjoy the floor and come back here at 12:30 for the next session, and have a great day. Thank you.